He's late again.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking hell.
What time do you call this?
What time do I call this? I have just had to go 30 miles across 3 rivers, 2 mountains, be attacked by BTs, and be subject to timefall the entire time.
I don't care. What are you doing?
He's distressed.
It's supposed to be a fucking baby.
Hey, what is it that I had to bring you on Prime, no less?
I'm glad you asked. It is a frying pan.
A frying pan. I risk my life for a frying pan.
Well, it's less that you risk your life for a frying pan, and more that you're risking your life by the frying pan.
What?
Ooh, nice boots. Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming. I am the Majestic Snare, and that is a package that needs to be returned. That is Lee.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That was not funny.
It wasn't bad from the spur of the moment there.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be doing a review, if you hadn't worked out from the title and thumbnail already, of Death Stranding.
The Stranded Death.
Now I've got to make a confession, obviously, for transparency.
Yes.
Not that kind of confession.
We all know already, Snare. It's fine.
Yeah. I have not played much of this game, so I'll be here the first impressions point of view only. So, in terms of review, this is the man you need to speak to.
Yay, I'm going to get all the hate.
No, you'll get the love because you're the one that's actually put the time in.
Yeah, I've played, I don't know, about 25 hours, somewhere around there. So I'm significantly into it. I have not finished it, though.
But you can got enough of an idea to talk about the game, though, right?
Yeah, So in Death Stranding, you play Sam Porter Bridges.
I know that bit.
Yeah, he knows that bit. Who needs to carry stuff from places to other places and wave his magical dog tags called a Cupid, I believe. I see what you did there, Kojima. There's going to be a lot of that. And reconnect cities to the chiral network, which is basically the internet. Is that about right?
Don't know.
Oh, and he carries a baby because there are these things called BTs which are invisible and will drag you to some place called the beach and occasionally spawn a giant tar well that will attack you badly.
Cool. So my experience of the game, I've played through the first maybe 3 or 4 hours, and it feels like of that about 20 minutes of it was gameplay.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
I've experienced the game, but I have not experienced it enough to recommend or not recommend the game, apart from my first impressions. But what first impressions they were, eh?
Yeah, it's one of those games where you just want to take the person who made it and just go, just pull it back, just a little bit, just a touch. I think some people work better with constraints, and I think Kojima is one of those people. When you let him have his head, you get just this. This is exactly the reason you shouldn't let him have his head. He should be constrained by a studio, and they can say, well, okay, we like your core idea, that's good, reconnecting America and taking things places and rebuilding, that's good. We can deal with that. The baby and the giant squid things. Could we have a bloke that you shoot? The rain that ages you. That's going to be tricky for gameplay because wind's apparently not a thing. I'm just saying, like a hood. Don't know about you guys, but when I put my hood up and it's raining and it's windy, my face still gets wet. So he needs like some sort of masked helmet thing, really.
Is it not just like, if it's not water, then maybe it just doesn't get affected by wind? Well, I have to say one thing. Like whenever you see previews and trailers for games, and you've got a decent amount of gameplay, it's very rare that isn't what you get. Anthem aside, okay. But usually when you see a game and you think, okay, well, it looks like it's this kind of mechanic, it's doing this kind of stuff. This is the core of the gameplay. It's not always, or it's very rare that it's going to be different to that. And when we did our video that got lots of hate, where we said it just looks boring, I've got to admit, my experience so far very limited. It just feels boring.
It's pretty boring. Primarily because I actively don't want to progress. Like when you see a priority mission, that's going to advance the storyline. You're like, do I really want to advance the storyline? I'm quite happy just building this part of the road and building the next part of the road and joining up the cities and
Well, I think maybe it's just the fact that it's not aimed at us. Maybe I get that impression too.
It could be that. I mean, I'm okay with the mechanics of the rebuilding, and I spent hours just getting materials to build roads that connect the cities, and I'm actually down with that. It wasn't the most fun I've ever had, but I was having an okay time doing it. But any time that you get involved with the story or the BTs or just the terrible mule combat, or even there's flashbacks to a battle zone. I've been intentionally quite vague, where you do actually shoot people, and yeah, that's not very well done, if I'm honest.
Mm.
It's a fantastic looking game, but all of the mechanics are fairly clunky. The menus are bad. The control scheme, when your controls for a game where your gameplay is you're walking places, and your controls for the actual walking are a bit clunky, that's something you need to work on, really. I mean, you can't make Sam take one step if you want to edge up to something. He will, because he's trying to react to all the different terrain. He'll take a big old bound, or he'll start falling down a hill, all sorts. And you just want to take a little step. There's no fine control. It's almost like you just tell him which way you want to go and let him do it.
Yeah, I certainly found the walking controls a bit jarring to start with. Very early on in the mission, you're carrying a body on your back. And I remember just the fact that they give you a little hint the load for a human body is a little bit more unpredictable than a box.
Why don't you just put it in a fucking box then?
But it's comical. It's just comical. And I found myself kind of falling to one side, falling to the other before I actually realised what you had to do. And once you did know what you had to do, you were doing it constantly.
Yeah, and I don't even understand the point of having that game sort of mechanic in there, because you can just hold both triggers. And you're like, I'm not going to fall now. Let's just go.
He's walking along like that.
Well, he's like...
But, I don't see the point of that being a constant. And I wasn't walking on rocky terrain or anything. Just if I wanted to go slightly to the left, it would start to just sway out, and then you have to sway it back and try and walk around with it and walk around. It just wasn't fun. I didn't have fun with it. I mean, yeah, you're right about the visuals being a beautiful kind of landscape kind of interaction, but the one thing that stood out to me was actually the score. You know what I'm like with score on games, not score, but the actual audio score.
Yeah, I thought it was used very cynically here.
I really liked it. I thought it was very fitting stuff, interesting songs, and you can obviously play them back. It's great.
It's like you come over a rise and the land's out before you, and this music kicks in and it tells you exactly what the music is down the bottom, like on MTV. And you're just like, that's nice, but I just want to fucking take this stupid box somewhere. Just let me get on with it, please.
Stranding.
It has so many points where you're just interrupted. It's like you go into an area where there's BTs. There's a pause to notify you that you're in an area with BT. You can't skip it. And then you get a bit closer and your thing activates. And there's this whole cutscene of this thing activating, looking around and pointing at the BTs. And you're like, I can't skip that either. It's like a nightmare. And even if you're driving down a road which goes over the top of the BT area, so you're not actually interacting with the BTs, it still happens and you still have to fucking wait for it.
I think we can understand that Lee doesn't like this game very much.
I'm actually quite ambivalent about the game, because I don't mind the reconnection of the cities and taking things places. I wish you could build roads to all of the fucking cities, though. That would be nice. That would be awesome if you could. I don't know. Maybe it's in the late game, but maybe you could get the little packages you take out to build structures, and you could build paving. Yeah, I'm feeling my veins are going in my head.
Ambivalent. I'm fucking ambivalent about this game.
No, I like that part of it, but every time it does anything to fucking get involved with the story, I'm just pissed off.
See, my problem with games like this is very much I'm a big fan of people trying new things in games because it's how the industry kind of grows, finds new avenues, and gets to tell a new story, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think my love for the new and the weird in video games is always more. It's much stronger than the actual product we actually get. So in a game like this, I was like, yeah, we'll have to do this as a review, and the draw for me to want to actually pick up the controller and switch on my PS4 to play this, it just isn't there. I just don't have a drive to play it. I didn't come rushing home from work and go, oh, I need to sit down for a few hours. What shall I do? Oh, yeah, I'll throw a few hours into Death Stranding. Never felt that from the first playthrough.
I did, but that's due to my OCD in that I had like a couple of sections of road to complete, like this huge road I'd been building for hours. But you get a truck later on, you get vehicles, and you get a truck, and you can load like your packages into the truck. So I'm not really interested in going anywhere my truck cannot go because I don't want to deal with that whole mess of having a 6-foot stack of washing machines on your back.
And that was always a bit weird.
It made more sense when you got like the power legs, which you can get, which replace the sort of places on the hips where you can put cargo. You can put like power legs on there instead.
Yeah, and I'm fully aware there's lots of bits of the game I haven't even touched or seen yet, and I will be going back to play it. But I can't give a recommendation for this game because I just find it too convoluted, and it doesn't pull me in. It's got good parts to it, but it doesn't pull me in.
Yeah, and the private room just annoys the fuck out of me. Because
Here we go, ambivalent apparently.
There's parts I like, but like it's covered in so much shit. I just can't. I can't bring myself to dig through the shit to get to the bits I like. It's like
story of your life, isn't it?
It's like if your dog eats like a £10 fucking costume jewelry, I'm not going digging for the dog shit to get that back. If it was a diamond, yeah, okay, I would. But it's not. It's costume jewelry.
You wouldn't be digging through shit. You'd rip the dog apart, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you, Lee?
I wouldn't rip my puppy apart. What are you talking about?
It had a massive diamond in it.
If it ripped up my sofa again, I might. Yeah. But no, yeah. So like you've got the private room. Every time you come out the private room, or most every times, you get a little flashback from the baby's point of view that you're carrying, BB, because it's baby. Like if you're a child. But anyway, you get a flashback and you get to watch Mads Mikkelsen get drunk and dance and make goo-goo faces at you, and you're just like, really? From Hannibal to this? Fuck it hell, mate.
I've just always felt the general theme, or the cultural difference between a traditional Western video game and a Japanese video game. There's always been that divide.
There is a divide. It is not the case here because I fucking love the Persona series.
Well, that's just your own personal preference,
and Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and I hated that.
You liked it better when it was Lord of the Rings. Third Age.
That's okay.
Yeah, but it's Final Fantasy just with the Lord of the Rings jacket on.
Well, it's still a lot better than having to go fishing for no reason.
Yeah, or drawing magic. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So for me, there's always been that divide between the game styles and the menu styles, and the disconnect between gameplay and menus. That's the thing. Off the top of my head, things always make me think of, it's a Japanese game. And certainly with Kojima games like Metal Gear and stuff, it had that problem too. But I do think that Metal Gear is a good game. The early ones, not necessarily the later ones. And this feels like it's Metal Gear without the guns.
You do get guns.
I know you get the guns and you actually have combat in it later on, which I've got nowhere near yet. But it's definitely, it feels like it's that divide that's going to be a barrier to me to enjoy this game, because of the style and the way that things are put together.
I think it's an art piece that Kojima searched to put a game into. I think the whole highfalutin, cerebral storyline he's come up with, he's like, oh, great. Now, how do I make a game out of that?
Yeah, it does feel like that. It does. I mean, for my limited experience, it is put put together well in terms of visuals and audio. But the gameplay just seems to be quite a forced element. But the idea of it being something completely separate to and different still appeals to me, which is why I want to go back and play it. So I can't really have. I can have an opinion about it, but I don't think it's.
Careful, we might have to make another video where he gets back on it.
But no, I mean it's how it's been. That it's fine to have the opinion, but I need to be conscious of the fact that I haven't experienced it. In this case, experienced it enough to understand whether I like it or not.
Well, I still haven't finished fucking ranting about the private room.
Sorry, carry on.
So you go in the private room, you have a shower. He was surprised when I told him this, but your shower water, your piss and your shit turns into weapons you can use against the BT before you get like the blood weapons, which are like the A-level weapons. And he has a shit, and an advert for Norman Reedus' ride comes up, and I'm just like, so Norman Reedus exists in this world? What? And,
well, I tried to explain to Lee that the advert's aimed at him, not the character.
Yeah, I don't...
Obviously.
I'm annoyed at having to look at his stupid pube face on there. He looks like, was it Aaron when they did it on Jackass where he had to glue their pubes onto his face to make a fake beard? He looks like that. He's got like this fucking pubic hair going on his cheeks, and it's completely separate from the rest of his beard. I'm just like, for fuck's sake, will you shave that off? It's driving me fucking nuts. You'll put your hair in a little scrunky ponytail, but you won't shave that? And my God, that's not your body. You don't look like that. You like a little fucking little wasted rat-faced motherfucker.
Ambivalent. My God. Do you understand what ambivalent means?
Yeah, you make a face like a dog chewing a toffee.
Well, I'm glad I haven't had to go through this pain so far. I don't have a problem with how Norman Reedus looks.
Ah,
or Sam, even.
Yes, Sam.
I mean, I find the story quite convoluted, or contrived is a better word. You get to play as the son of the president, effectively. But that's how I understand it at the start of the game. I don't know if that changes. Anything can happen in the Kojima game. So it just feels like that privileged kind of white guy position in a game to make you feel like you've got some semblance of like a hold on the world and not completely useless. But then as time goes on from the played time that I've had, it just feels like you are just a lackey. And I can't see it improving. But that contrived son of the president bullshit, it's tired.
Yeah, so early game you go to see the president, who's the Bonnet woman for some reason. Mm-hmm. And for some reason you drag her out of the fucking bed.
Doesn't she grab you?
And she kind of grabs you, but you're like, yeah!
Get off me.
You're like, yeah, this woman's about to die of cancer, you're throwing her on the floor.
And where were the Secret Service? They should have been straight in there.
Yeah, should have fucking given me a right old kicking.
Who knows? Well, I suppose it's in a post-apocalyptic kind of weirdness time, isn't it? So.
Yes, but Die Hard Man was outside the door.
Oh yeah, that's his actual name, isn't it?
It's his actual name. That is actually his name.
Okay,
then
that gets an extra point.
later, who has a heart attack every few minutes.
What?
Yeah, he has a heart attack every few minutes, then comes back. And his name's Hartman. And there's hearts in places. It's so subtle.
See, it's stuff like that. That would be totally acceptable to some people, but I just think that's so lazy.
It reminds me of like when you try to make me read Axe Cop.
Oh yeah, Avocado Soldier and stuff.
Yeah, it's like this was written by a 7-year-old. I'm like, yeah, clearly.
That was a good series actually. If you ever get a chance to have a bit of a laugh, Axe Cop is good.
It's like a child wrote this game.
I was going to say, a child did write the comic.
Yeah, a child did write the comic. Yes, that's why I was making the comparison.
But I'm not going to be searching for time to play this game, but I will go back to it because I want to experience a little bit more. But I've still got other games to finish off before we see the sequels come out. So
yes, I probably will be going back to it just because I have more roads to build.
Enjoy your building of roads, OCD man. Oh, we have to mention the trolling as well.
Oh yes, the trolling. Yeah, so this whole like helping each other thing. Turns out people are assholes. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought the people on the internet are just there to fuck with you?
So I've noticed this myself, not to the level some have, but I will occasionally find a bike parked across the fucking road that I built. ungrateful
So
bastards.
when you, I mean, I haven't got to the part of building anything like roads in the game clearly. When you build a road, that's going to be in some people's playthroughs and not others, right?
Well, the way it works is basically if you have access to it and you've unlocked the chiral network, you have access to the other players in it. But I'm not exactly sure how it works because I've built those roads pretty much by my fucking self, right? I go on, I find it, it's got some material in it when I start. I'm like, okay, I need to provide the rest. And I'll go away for a couple of days, and when I come back, it won't have been completed. I'll still have to fucking provide that materials. So it's not like there's someone also working. And then I'll find people providing materials to places I've already built. You'll get a message, oh, so-and-so provided materials for here. And I'm like, I've just built that. That's a bit late.
Well, this is my point. So if someone had parked their bike on your road,
All the roads are
can
in
they
set
see your
places.
road? Oh, okay.
So they know where the roads are. So if it's exactly, the auto pavers are in set positions. I don't know.
They can just put it wherever the road is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So they know when you get a road, there'll be a fucking bike on it.
And there's been stories of people holding up caves with trucks and just leaving their trucks there.
It's just like,
But this is the problem. The concept of like people playing together for a greater good and helping each other. Oh, that's lovely, and let's have a little cuddle about it. Unfortunately, this is the internet, and people playing online, I think, have got a really good track record of being helpful and supportive of each other. Haven't they?
yeah, yes they do.
Have they? Bollocks!
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to work unless there's a sanction for doing stuff like that, or not letting you do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's...
But then you actually moan that you couldn't do stuff like that because that would be a restriction on your freedom in the game.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I'd be okay, but it doesn't really help that often. Occasionally you'll get like a ladder put across a river and you'll be like, oh, okay, thanks for that, and give it a like, which you can give multiple likes. Like we're talking hundreds of likes, like just go, give them a couple of hundred likes, and it's like, but what does the likes do? Nothing. It's not like currency you can spend. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, that might actually be a good thing to have, like a not reciprocal, but if you give somebody a like, you can actually use that as a resource.
Yeah, but then you've got like, oh, well, if we can give them a like, and if they're trolling us, we can give them a dislike. But then we can just dislike people anyway because we're assholes.
Yeah, but that's fine. That would be fun.
Not if we use it as currency.
But don't worry, because like you could probably have a microtransaction to get rid of your
get
dislikes.
a box of 5,000 likes. Yeah. So, God.
I don't know. Is there any microtransactions in it? I think there is.
No, I will say this for Kojima, he does seem to ship finished products without any sort of forethought towards any additional story or anything. He does have like your encapsulated products. So that there you go. I've said something good about the guy.
And that's ambivalence, boys and girls.
There you go.
But also, was there any day one patchy type situations? I don't believe there was.
I don't think so either.
Because I played it probably day 2 or 3 and I didn't get a massive patch.
Yeah, I played it a little bit later. I can't remember it patching.
So I mean, for all the bad things that Lee is saying about this game, I don't think it's probably worthy of getting shit on because it's actually producing a finished product, as you said, and not being rushed out the door.
I think if you can find enjoyment in the gameplay or you like the story, then fine, more power to you. I'm sorry I'm not there with you because I wanted to like it when it was announced. I'm like, okay, Metal Gear 5 was a bit, but he was rushed out the door pretty much by Konami, so that's probably why that sucks. So it's nice to see him being able to do what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that's not necessarily a good thing, at least to me.
Yeah, I would, from a first impressions point of view, probably agree with most of that. I think you could probably say to people, oh, if you're a fan of games, you might as well try it. But I think everyone's going to have their tastes. And you're going to have to play this to find out whether it's a taste you have or not. It's not really a game we've seen before, or this type of game. And some of the mechanics in it are at least trying to be original, even if they're probably not. So, I mean, my score out of 10 is going to be whether I'm going to play it a bit more and would I recommend on a first impression. And I think based on that, I'd probably give it a 5 at the moment. Because I'm not getting pulled to play the game. I don't feel like I want to stop filming this right now and go and play it. I will get to it when I get to it. I don't feel a rush to play it. So that's why I give it a 5 out of 10.
I would actually give it a 5 as well. I know.
That is ambivalent.
Yeah, it's right in the middle. Because I feel like when I'm playing the game, I'm not having a bad time, but I'm actively trying to avoid progressing in the game. I don't want to go through an area where there's BTs and it takes me 20 minutes walking in a crouch and being quiet, or using up all my fucking grenades or blood supply to like get rid of these fuckers that seem to return anyway.
Do you faint?
I have never used up all of my blood before, but apparently you do.
Because that would make sense, right? If you're using your blood to fuel these grenades.
Well, the grenades are separate, but you get a gun which you can like hold down and charge up with your blood, and it just fires and they go. But there's always more. You can never really clear a section out, so it's safe just to go through.
Yeah. So 5 out of 10. Now we did do a video recently saying why does it look so boring, and I guess we kind of have just sat in that view since.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think.
Well, less boring, but
our impressions of that gameplay demo are exactly how the game is. You have people watching that display and being like, "Oh, well, he's just showing bits and bobs." No, that's the game. That is the game. You will get like vehicles, and there will be more stuff in it. Yes, as you progress, that's fairly early on, but that is the game he was showing you. So, if you like the look of it, you probably like it.
But a lot of people shout at us for not understanding what fun is.
Yeah, it's not. I had limited fun. I should probably say that, because like I did, like when you finally get all of your stuff and build that road and you watch it go down, you watch it 3D print it, and it just goes off into the distance. You're like, made some progress there. That's quite a nice feeling. But everything surrounding like going to places that a road doesn't just annoy me.
Yep. So that's all I think we've got to say about Death Stranding. It's probably ranted on for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Well done for being so ambivalent.
Which is a concern because I only captured 35 minutes of footage.
It might be repeated behind us.
Yes.
But yes, we have videos out every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you did like what you see here today, drop us a like and subscribe if you want to, because that will help us out a great deal.
And don't forget to comment down below and let us know why we're entirely wrong and why this is a masterpiece.
Now you're baiting them.
I am. We want comments. It's called engagement.
True. Very true. Okay, guys. Well, until next time, take care of yourselves.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.